Facebook announced last Wednesday, or actually probably this past Wednesday, that they will begin testing advertisements that appear in the Oculus virtual reality headsets as well as a VR game. It's a shooter game, I believe. I forgot the name already. I don't seem to have it written down. I thought it was mentioned in here. Yeah, Blastin'. So we've had games going back to like the year 2002, like Battlefield 2142 had ads for Intel processors on the billboards and things like that, which was incredibly stupid because you're playing a game that's supposed to take place in 2142 and you're seeing ads for a processor from 2006 or 2003 or whatever. But this is not necessarily something new. I just think it's disappointing and one of those like weird, you know, surreal, just like, is this really where things are going kind of things, because it's going to be obnoxious and invasive, and hopefully we can get ad blockers for our VR headset, which just sounds so stupid, but yeah, I don't know. This is unsurprising because Facebook is killing off most of their platforms, including Instagram, due to heavy monetization and advertising, but yeah, it's a thing. So it's really tough. So in terms of VR, I have the original Oculus Rift. It is currently in a box. I have used it a total of probably 5 times. I've made a couple videos about it. I did some streams with it with some sponsored incel stuff back in like 2018. I used it for my personal play. I ended up having a severely negative reaction to the spatial audio whispering stuff in Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, despite the fact that it's a wonderful game, and I kind of put it down and never picked it back up. And I have been wanting to get back into VR, and it seems like some of the Oculus stuff is some of the top tier stuff. But do I want to deal with all of this Facebook crap? Like, I don't know. I don't. And so I'm really kind of torn on what I'm really kind of torn on what headset and stuff like that I should be looking into, to the extent that I have basically dropped VR altogether. Also, someone's asking, please explain why screw Facebook. Just consider Googling Facebook and looking at any of the news ever associated with the company. Yeah, but yeah, biometric data for ads based on my breathing or my movement in my home. I don't know. It doesn't feel right, and it's just like, I'm someone who doesn't complain about ads a ton. Like, I have little sympathy for people who want to complain about YouTubers running sponsorships but run ad block on YouTube and all of that. I typically, advocate for paying for the ad blocker whatever services like YouTube Premium versus actually using dedicated ad blockers. But there's a certain extent where I have especially when you pay so much. Like, Oculus is not a cheap product. Like, none of the headsets are cheap. So when you're paying such a significant amount to get into an ecosystem and paying for the game itself and all of that, you want to sit down and not be bombarded with the outside world. On top of the fact that some of the appeal of VR is the immersion and the separation from the real world, and all of that immersion is kind of ruined. As much as I hate that phrase, the immersion is kind of ruined by having the ads in there. I don't know. It's not right. To chat, would you be okay if Apple played a 30-second ad every time you turn on your phone? I wouldn't, but even just whenever you turned on your phone still is not as invasive as having it in the actual headset. That would be like every time you opened an app, a new ad played, and then you switched app and whatever.